showtime. Dynamite Download. Welcome to Dynamite Download, your source for positive coverage of all elite wrestling.
This is what pro wrestling feels like.
Told you guys, positive energy.
I think that created a little moment in itself.
You're saying I have a better record than Kenny Omega and Samoa Joe, and now I'm going to have to wrestle them.
I've never seen someone able to break down like wrestling like he does.
That punk, that long-haired hippie freak.
My real story does connect with a lot of people.
That you need to be careful in the locker room.
I definitely think that women's wrestling has been elevated.
And with the loss of Brody, I feel like we were just kind of a little bit directionless.
I was like deep diving into like cults.
Raw horse.
Raw horse?
Oh my god!
Amazing.
I had to smack him around a few times to fully gain his respect.
You said that in front of the voice of a generation?
Versus Frankie's match.
Awesome.
This podcast is quite frankly the drizzling shit, if I'm being quite honest.
There's day spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download.
Too sweet.
That is too sweet indeed. Quick shout out right off the bat. I gotta say, Crayfish family just welcomed another baby to the world today.
Is it Dax?
It is not Dax. It's Miss Elizabeth. It's a baby girl.
Very nice.
So now they got the tag team. They got
the
two boys and now a girl. So they got a tag team and a manager. It's a Butcher and the Blade and Bunny. There you go.
There you go. Butcher, Blade, and Bunny. And I just want to say that Miss Elizabeth is the cream of the crop because the cream rises to the top. Oh, yeah. Congratulations, Gray. That's awesome, brother. Hogan, get out of my sight. I don't want to see you. Yeah.
I was reading a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon of what's been cooking in AEW. And as you're enjoying whatever that is and enjoying some great mozzarella sticks, people are finally kind of seeing the light on social and some of the critiques, the higher end critiquer people that are every little square inch they critique AEW a little bit, but they're saying like, WWE should do more of this, give us free main events like they've been doing for the last pretty much all of 2026. And last night's show, like I mentioned last week, I was like, they should have ran this the whole show, but I'm glad they didn't because there's such a blend of great matches. But that main event was stellar. Very, very great. I'm just shocked that we continue to get these free TV main events. And then you still have so much more to give at the pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible.
It's fantastic. And, people are starting to echo what we've been saying. I know because they watch us, of course, we're the pioneers. We're the ones to say it first. We're the prescient ones. But we've been saying like that 2026 AEW Tony is in the kitchen. Like Bobby Flay and what's his name there? The yelling guy one. He's
Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay, Paula Dean. He's cooking with butter. He's doing everything, man. And I love it. He's got the Emerald Bam. And it's exactly, and I think there was a moment last year in 2025 where Tony just decided, I'm not going to worry about WWE. Yes, they're trying to counter program. They're trying to get a rise. I mean, even recently, Nick Khan at WWE was trying to throw some swipes, but that's because they know people are enjoying AEW, and that all the criticisms are falling to the wayside. Even the bots are struggling to find something. 2026 AEW. Tony Khan has got WWE in the rearview mirror. He's just focused on making the product, the locker room. Darby said it. MJF has said it recently. Got rid of some children from the locker room. I feel like the locker room is and again, this is armchair third from perspective. I think the locker room is sound. I think everybody's trying to support each other, and it's you can see it. It translates that everybody's enjoying themselves on the
Mhm.
product, and it translates to us. And aside from last night's main event, the last night's Dynamite, I give an A, possibly an A-, because a pair did not debut on TV yet, but they are signed. We'll get to that another time. But I will say, if you add in the main event, you're absolutely right. I mean, that main event could have main evented Revolution. So it's the start of something here. They're cooking. Tony, keep cooking. This was great. And what a great Dynamite again. And I mean, we're going to be seeing that like a broken record.
The main event could have main evented any pay-per-view. Could have main evented All In, that's for sure too. But a lot's happened. We had this amazing show last night, and we had Grand Slam since we've spoken last, and we had three new additions to the women's roster, which is sweet. We were hoping for maybe a little bit selfishly even more, but what a Grand Slam home run show that was down under. Not to take away from the fact that they're here, and you've been calling it for months and months and weeks, the Iconics inspiration. I wish it was a TV debut. I wish it was at Grand Slam. It would have felt more important of their addition to the roster, which I think it is very important. Or they could have, even if they didn't do that, they should have been like, okay, they're going to be just like they did the Brawling Birds. They're like in-ring debut of the inspiration, coming. So show us more, because not everyone's plugged into social.
I'm with you, except because I selfishly agree 1,000%. I do want stepping back and just trying to put myself in Tony Khan's shoes. You don't. I mean, and this stinks because it's counter to the I want everything now. But Tony also knows the best steaks are the ones that you slow cook. You don't want to just throw a steak in the microwave. And I think what he's doing here. He knew, because here's the thing: this was the Brawling Birds TV debut.
Right.
Didn't want to take away from them. Didn't want to take away from Willow's, the stuff going on with Willow, Mina, and all them. We also had Thunder coming back. There was a lot of stuff in the women's division going on that I think putting the inspiration out there last night would have conflicted. Plus, I do get the sense, because Harley wasn't there and Fletcher wasn't there, Tony Khan probably gave a lot of the hometown Aussie folks a little extra time down under to skip this Dynamite. So, which
was great. Yeah, I agree with that. I almost, at the flip side, would have rather just had them hold off for a more impactful debut.
Yeah, not a soft show. Yeah,
I'm here for a good pop. If you're not going to do it on TV and Grand Slam, and you're just going to do it at a house show, I would have rather just saved it for a Dynamite. And it doesn't have to be the hometown, even though they would have been, welcomed with open arms as they are. So those are a pairing that could be near the top of the free agent list of our +2 coming up, which we're gonna do next week, early next week sometime. But man, kicking off the show, this on the right, I like this. Love the graphics. That I always praise them, but this reminds me of like a Hunger. If you're a fan of Hunger Games, it kind of looks like a Hunger Games style poster. Yeah. Officially announced, Double or Nothing is not in Vegas this year. It's at the Arthur Ashe Stadium out in Queens, mild stomping grounds around there in Queens. It's going to be Memorial Day weekend, Double or Nothing. That always draws a big crowd. The New York crowd is always wild, as we've seen from the Grand Slams that they've had, the Hammerstein Ballroom residencies and all that. So I think it's going to be pretty sweet there. So I don't know. MJF is going to get quite the warm welcome there, I believe. So that it's always fun, but a cool venue that they're going to do. I like that they're switching it up. For a while they were kind of keeping that Double or Nothing, like the residency of Vegas, where it all started. Yeah. And I'm excited. Maybe attend it. We'll see. And right before that, 2 pay-per-views before that is going to be Revolution next month, and we got 3 official matches. Now, we'll talk about it, the MJF and Hangman stuff, but in all these, I guess, essentially as we dive in. But I love the coloring of this one. I'm glad we're already starting to see this alone. It should sell any pay-per-view, and we're not even adding any women's matches just yet. I'm sure we'll get a tag team match and or a women's world title rematch or match, whatever it may be, depending on Statlander status. It could be Thunder Rosa versus Tekla, which would be pretty dang sweet for Revolution. But Moxley versus Mark Davis, the henchman of the Callis family. And we've been singing his praises week in and week out. And it's very surprising to me how well he's been able to transition away from a red hot tag team with him and Doyle to this kind of singles beefy stud. And he's got a lot of more hair than MJF. He's thicker hair than MJF, as Hangman's pointed out earlier on the promo, if you caught that part. But Moxley continued to be the workhorse and reigning and defending championship. I like that. I love that he is continuing to be the MVP of AEW and just constantly in the ring. But when these guys had the trios match, I loved last week how Mark Davis was booked. I loved how he was booked as this like threat and scary, beefy, chop-inspired badass, and it's continuing to show. And I like this graphic of him being like the big old grumpy burly man too. I'm mad and I'm gonna chop your head off.
He's like an insane gay lumberjack or something. He's getting ready to come down. Like he is like a grizzly bear, and he's being treated as such now. And we talked about it last week, where it's like he's found his groove now, and it took him just tagging a couple times with Doyle. And when Doyle comes back, it's going to be awesome. But I thought this was fantastic. The dude wrestling with I don't know. It looked legit broken, his hand. I mean, I know there's a lot of cutting and all that kind of stuff, and getting some color. But I love that he continued to wrestle with this like hand just bleeding and looking like crazy. Even Moxley's looking at. But it made him tougher. It showed off that made him come across a lot tougher. And Moxley was selling the heck out of a lot of his moves. There was the one pile driver thing he did, and then Moxley like kicked out, but then Moxley's like,
he's such a good seller at the days.
Oh, it's great.
Wobbly Moxley.
Yeah. What a violent way to set off. And of course, it almost like a couple things I like. I like the mythology around Moxley. If you get Moxley in a choke, he panics because he's got PTSD from when he tapped before. But the only way he was going to stop the bear was to choke him out, and that's what he ended up. That's how he put him away. And I thought that was great storytelling. Once again, a common thing we say in AEW, both men came out looking great. Even the guy that took the L looked better than he has before. And that says a lot.
Davis's pile drivers always make me hold my breath. He did the one from picking him up the side and then quickly did that pile driver transition. Very impressive, but just any pile driver makes me hold my breath every single time. But Davis is especially because he just pounces on them, and most of the time the guy he's pile driving, they just pop up and they bounce around, which it's impressive. Hopefully everyone stays safe every time he's doing it. But wow, I'm more impressed each week of Davis, even though he's taking L after L after L. There'll be a turnaround moment. There's got to be a turnaround moment for him. What we were wanting last week happened this week, and it was glorious. I don't know. You sent me the clip. I wasn't able to watch the show live, but I rewatched it today. And on HBO Max, there's like a 5-second cutout where they don't show them kicking Stokely.
They did the same thing on TBS.
Wonder why
they cut it out. I think there's some rule or something. You can't kick the disabled or something. There's some kind of thing. I don't know if Stokely's people called or.
I kept rewinding and rewinding, and I was like, "Wait, where's the glitch? What's the glitch?" But the online clip shows it.
Well, that's because in Mexico, I think it's legal to beat up the disabled, to super kick the disabled, and that's where we had to get the Mexican feed from this like a CMLL loyalist.
Oh my gosh!
Do not fear, because us here at Dynamite Download. We got it.
Oh, boom! Lights out.
And it was glorious.
If you saw our Dynamite download story over the weekend, I super kicked the head off a mannequin. It was very similar for sure.
Yeah.
But man, it was perfect. Setting up the match. Honestly, love the flame style tassels, the colors, the outfit of the Young Bucks. This is the OG Young Bucks tassel flare that is so like beautiful and glorious, and it's back, and it's getting better and better every single week. And finally, you could just see it in Stokely's eyes and face, and then his tone where he's like, "Oh no, where are my guys?" And he slowly turned around, and he knew the inevitable was coming. And it was absolutely cinema glorious. That super kick to Stokely. And like you've said, you've praised Stokely time and time again with this pairing with FTR. Who would have thought it would have worked so well, and it's worked so well. And props to him. And it's another level. Like I said, next week or wherever, he's going to have to come back with a neck brace and maybe like one of those neck traction things. So where he's like really like disabled, and he's going to try to, suspend him and do all this like horrible stuff. So, but man, this is setting up for such a great match at Revolution.
Yeah, I just love it. I mean, and I hope people are coming around to the Stokely. I know there's not everybody was on board on the Stokely train, if you will, with the.
At first, FTR. I wasn't. I'll happily admit that, but I am on choo-choo train right now, all the
way. Because that's that payoff we got last night. I mean, even
exactly.
And I think they should even play up the fact that it wasn't on American national TV. Like somehow Stokely had already put some kind of notice, or like there's a letter that was written to Time Warner or something that you cannot show the harming of the Stokely Foundation has blocked this from being on TV. I don't know. But I mean, how do you not get excited for Bucks versus FTR? I mean, it's like, hey, guess what? You're going to have the second GoFundMe. Exactly.
Do not support that.
We do not hear it. But damn it, do not support. How can you not get excited for a steak dinner? How can you not get excited for Bucks versus FTR? Everybody eats with this. I mean, it's up there with Bucks versus Lucha Brothers, FTR versus Briscoes. I mean, you hear those two names, it's just going to be insane. So, yeah, strap us in. And who knows how they're going to play this out. We can save that for the speculation on the preview show. But one thing we can guarantee is that this is going to live up to the Revolution pay-per-view, and we're all excited.
This one, I'm a huge tag team wrestling fan, and AEW really turned me into such a big tag team wrestling fan because of the early days of AEW, which included the Bucks, the Lucha Bros, Private Party, and Dark Order, and all these, like, just the synchronicity of like how well these teams did. So this is the number one match I'm looking forward to at Revolution as of now. The main event's going to be Hangman versus MJF for the world title, and we're kind of selfishly looking beyond this match. Like we're, as we're talking off air, kind of fantasy booking, as we said before, of what's going to happen after the match. Is there going to be something after the match? And not AEW doesn't often do that, but when they do it, it's huge. And we spoke about that before, where I was at it was a double debut with Adam Cole and Bryan and Danielson. So could there be a double debut or returns here? We're really, really crossing our fingers and toes for this, but the face-to-face was in typical fashion. MJF knows how to sell a freaking match, and he doesn't even have to really. It doesn't seem like he's even trying. And this match ultimately sells itself with the history, and it's just a great history reminder of the 2-1 advantage that Hangman has, and how I actually really appreciate and liked the fact that Hangman was saying, I hate you because you're like me. We're like, we're the same, and we're seeking, approval and justification and all this stuff, for everything he had to say. And I was like, well, I mean, I see it now. I see the similarities in what they are driven by. Even though MJF's driven by evil, and Hangman can be driven by evil at times, but mostly good. But this was a great way. But before we talk about what, kind of the potential stipulation, how did you feel about this promo battle?
I actually think this deserves more praise, and it probably got overshadowed by the main event last night, because I thought this was the verbal main event. You've got the top two guys here, really. If you really break it down, this is the hero and the villain of AEW right now, and if you go back to 2019, this is where it was, because these are the two finalists for the was it the All In? It was All In Battle Royal or whatever, or the Casino Battle Royal. These were the finalists. These are the two guys that Tony Khan and everybody had picked originally as to be the hero and the villain, and they're still here. They bleed AEW, and one of the master class, I think, with both MJF and Hanger is they don't do a promo just to tear down the opponent. They're selling the match. They build up the opponent, and then they do that one thing, but it's this. So MJF did a tremendous thing here by talking about, and you people think he's your hero. He's creating that diversity of opinion of that he is the hero, and then how Hanger deconstructed it that I hate you because you're like me. You're just as desperate, and that was such a great way to take that momentum from MJF, what he said, and turn it around. MJF, he's in character, but he's true when he says he's not going to lower his promo skills to help the young guys. He wants to hold the bar up high. You come to me, and if you're worthy. And Hanger's one of the few people, he's already there. Hanger and MJF can hang all day long with the mic stuff. These are two locker room leaders. And, despite what MJF wants everybody to get out, MJF is a locker room leader. People know deep down, Maxwell Jacob Friedman is a locker room leader. MJF is a scumbag. This was the back and forth here was tremendous. I felt like, you knew it was going to be. And this is, I think the rest of the younger guys need to take note of this, because this is how you not only set up a match, but they're storytelling. They're telling the story here about, and they're setting the entire. It's kind of like that part in a superhero movie where the villain tells the whole plan, but they're both saying it, and it's setting up. It's like setting up the entire storyline for the match. I thought it was phenomenal. I love both of these guys, and this is continuing Hanger's story of redemption, because Hanger knows he's dangerous, knows what he's capable of. I almost think it reminds me of me when I was in high school. I thought of myself as kind of a Captain America goody two shoes. I mean, I party with everybody, but I was kind of squeaky clean. And I was going to military college. I got to the military college, and I found out how not military I was. I realized that this is not for me. But I also learned I actually got to shine a lot of darker light on myself, or the light shined on a lot of dark parts of myself that I didn't know were there. And I think with Hanger, that's what happened with him, is he kind of had to go to this lowest point to realize who he really was, and he has to keep that monster in check, and he sees it in MJF, and I felt like that was such a compelling way to tell the story, and it's true to Hanger, and it also kind of continues MJF's whole thing about, he was almost going babyface, but everybody betrayed him. You don't love me, so now screw everybody. It really it three-dimensionalizes both of these characters, and I love it. MJF is Lex Luthor, then but it was tremendous. And then Hanger went full Cody.
I don't know if this was the plan or what, but I get this is an emotional match, emotional feud, and you're giving it all. Here's the thing, online now, all these clickbait rumors are like, oh, Hangman's going to leave AEW soon. He's going to go to WWE. It's like a rinse and repeat of Cody. I don't ever see Hangman going to WWE, and at all. I don't think.
At this point, I don't see either one of them now.
No, and that was another thing that Hangman I really appreciated was that MJF, or how MJF, is so loyal to the company, AEW. And who knows, MJF is so young, but it seems like this run, it feels so different than his first run. He's doing more media stuff. He's kind of not as douchey in all of his interviews. He's kind of leveled down a little bit. He's kind of, really being a spokesperson for AEW and not just being a shit talker and being like, I'm the best. Like, he's adding that, of course, because that's what he is. But he's also at the same time, he's like, check out the program we're on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Just watch the program and you'll see the great wrestles and all this. Like, he never used to do that stuff. But this, I feel like the announcers started to help backpedal a little bit. And then on social, like, we'll find out next week. And so it's not official. So hopefully that gets scrapped and we have some kind of stipulation that doesn't involve the Cody stipulation that we knew was never a good stipulation ever.
And it's important to point out that this wasn't, Hanger wasn't saying it like it was a stipulation. Hanger was saying it, I give you my word. So, I mean, you can do a lot with that. Like, true. Hanger can then go heel and be like, I was just kidding. My buddy, Nacho Man Shane, shout out to Shane. He said, well, yeah, he could, Hangman can just die for a second and then be brought back to life. And, then that's the way to get out. He can be the underhanger or something like that. I don't know. I thought that was kind of crazy, but no, I mean, yeah, there's a lot you can do with this. It does. I don't think it was needed. Right. I don't think he needed it, but to me, I think it's more of they've got so many opponents planned for MJF to go through that this is kind of a way to get Hanger out of the equation. Like, I don't see Hanger winning the title. They could surprise me. I think that would be great if he did. I don't see Hanger getting it. Yeah, I don't see him getting it back. I see MJF staying. So this could be like a way to kind of, okay, well, now as we're bringing in these other people, or we're bringing back a certain Aussie, we want other people to face MJF. I actually thought that's an interesting, compelling. Now they could go flip side because somebody I think is going heel, as we'll talk about later, and that could be a incredible battle for the title because he's becoming obsessed with that as well.
Well, here's the thing: it's like you don't like. They took the trios off the ops and put them on Horsecocks, and they haven't defended it once. Granted, they're doing it this Saturday, so I love that they still incorporated Hangman into this world title scene because it does give you the good versus evil versus like an Andrade or whomever at the moment. Even though Andrade, I love the push that he's been given, but you can go so many different ways. You could have Hangman win, and then you have double or nothing rematch. But then it's like what we talked about before, hot potato with the titles. Don't love that, but I don't. If the stipulation is I'll never challenge again, I don't want to see him lose because of that. Yeah. But yes, you have so many different contenders in line. This is a great match for a Revolution, and then Hangman can now be. Then it could be 2-2. Resurface down the line if they want to have their fifth and final one, or that's the only reason why it's like they brought up 2-1. Like if MJF won, then Hangman's like, okay, double or nothing at double or nothing, whatever. A true stipulation there. There's that, or you just kind of have it be done and done. As Hangman also said, I want to be done with this forever, so he can focus on the trios titles. Like, I don't like that they took the trios titles off and then they're just kind of like all over the place. And he didn't even bring the trios title out tonight. Yeah, if you notice that he's been doing it, but he didn't here.
I think they put it on the demand,
already.
At this point, I love Horsecock. Yeah, there's a sound clip for you. But no, what I mean is this is like I wanted them to be like the trios version of Brodito, but I don't know if it's working because they need, if you're gonna have trios titles, you gotta create some trios threats out there. And right now, the Demand are really the only trio threat out there. Conglomeration doesn't even have everybody. It's like we need to get some kind of we need to get some kind of trio. We got to build the trios division.
What she's saying, it's been held hostage. The trios division has been the ebb and flow of tag and trios keeps going back and forth. 1 year it's heavy trios, 1 year it's heavy tag, and vice versa. Right now, the tag division is thriving, and right now the trios division is withering away.
Agreed.
Well, so I mean, we'll see how it goes. Then we'll get more clarification next week on exactly what the stipulation is going to be. Hopefully, they call an audible and don't do the I'll never challenge for that again. The TV debut of the Brawling Birds, they don't give a F. Actually, they don't give a flying F if you saw their backstage post-match promo on social, which was awesome. The tag team that we didn't know we wanted are going to love. And, this is two, as Danielson was doing great on commentary right there, FTD, doing such a great job. And he was saying how aggressive they were, how hard-hitting they were, and how in sync they were. Like, what did you think of their debut in the ring?
I loved it. Now, first of all, shout out to Viva Van and Becca. Those are tremendous times. Viva Van is actually, I think, signed to AEW on a one of those tier 0 contracts, like per appearance thing. She is phenomenal, and she has wrestled in Japan. She's wrestled all over the place. Viva Van doesn't get enough credit. I'd love to see more of her. She's been in Ring of Honor a lot as well. Becca is an indie darling, and both of them looked tremendous as the dance partners. But again, they were the generals to the Globetrotters here. The Brawling Birds, phenomenal debut. I mean, they had a house show debut, where it wasn't televised, where they were great. But this was fantastic. We're building actual tag teams in the tag team division. I think that's brilliant, and that's something WWE hasn't done in a long time. Is really arguably AEW dropped the ball with the men's division for a little bit with this. Was that they're making actual tag teams with matching outfits. I mean, you've got the Babes of Wrath, the Sisters of Sin. You've got Mega Bad, and now you've got Brawling Birds. And I think it's very smart. I think this was a tag team that makes sense. I would love to see them with the belts. And of course, you throw in some inspiration, and they're gonna get pops. They're gonna be over, but they work so great as heels. I could see the Brawling Birds versus the Inspiration at Revolution, at least maybe on the undercard or something.
For number one contenders match.
So what they could be doing, Tony Khan might be doing, is let the Brawling Birds have a couple matches, and then the Inspiration show up and just ruin the parade, and I don't know, something like that. But I do love that the tag teams are being made. I think this is. You can even see it in Jamie Hayter. Like when she came back from injury, there was a little bit of uncertainty. Like she didn't quite know, like, where do I fit in with all this?
Right.
And then she is like turned it up to 11 with Alex Windsor. And Alex Windsor, so come on, Windsor.
Love it.
I love Alex Windsor, and I forget that she's married to Will Ospreay. Like, I forget that. Like, she is a star. I love her as a star on her own. She has earned a place in my heart on her own because she's so phenomenal. And she wrestles like Thunder Rosa when in her prime or before. She reminds me of that. I love this team. It's fantastic. And I think we noticed somebody has the Brawling Birds as both of them as a team in our draft, right?
Yeah, I mean, Brent has both these teams and a returning Thunder Rosa, so he's going to be. We'll show the standings at the end, but he could start to make a quick jump in the standings with those three ladies back in action. Now, do you think we'll eventually see this team go heel?
I don't think so. Not for a while. They're too over. Alex Windsor is too likable, and you need another babyface, a badass babyface team besides the Babes of Wrath.
Okay.
Because eventually, Babes of Wrath, as much as I love them, eventually they're going to get to a point where they got to drop the titles. I think
Right.
it's to Mega Bad. It could be to somebody else, but I don't see them going heel because they're too over right now. Who knows in a year, but I don't see them going heel anytime soon. I think they'll split up before they go heel, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while.
I think we need another heel team, though.
Yeah.
You talk about Mega Bad, Sisters of Sin. You want the Inspiration to be heels?
Yeah, they're going to be heels. They work great as heels because they roast people. They're almost like I know, at the risk of the entire internet coming after me for this comment, I'm going to say it, and it's going to prove to be true. The Inspiration, they're the MJFs of women's tag team wrestling. Maybe now that I say that, it may not be the MJFs, but when the Inspiration believe in themselves and they know that a company believes in them and a locker room believes in them, because they kind of got shafted at WWE a little bit, and they were split up, and the one dude didn't like them, so they got shafted a lot. Now they're in a company a big company that's going to support them with a supportive locker room. They've got friends. We're going to get to see the Inspiration, the Iconics, go full iconic.
Sure.
Including backstage roasting. I can't wait for the former Billy Kay, Jesse McKay, to go, "Hey, Lexi!" They're pretty. They're good. They're good in the ring. They've improved a lot since the WWE times. But what really makes the Iconics and the Inspiration so iconic and inspirational is their mic skills and the way that they feed off of each other. They're a comedy team, and they just roast people. They don't have to win a single belt to be entertaining. They're going to come out. They're going to roast the beds. They're going to roast everybody, and they're so much more fun to watch as heels. They're kind of like Ricochet. Actually, you know what? Maybe that's it. From a persona standpoint, they'll be like Ricochet. They're gonna get heat, but you're gonna love to hate. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're gonna come in as baby faces, but they work great as heels, and I think it's gonna be good.
I want them on TV. Give us them. Use the signings that you have.
Yeah,
use them. And you threw this in here. You think this might be the next tag team champions, right?
Yes, yeah. Hear me out. Hear me out. So, Private Party's back, and they came back, and now it's like, what are you going to do with them? Obviously, I want to see them in the tag team, the Spear, but hear me out.
Oh my gosh.
Mark Quinn, Isaiah Cassidy get an idea to go undercover and win tag team gold, women's tag team gold.
Oh my God.
White Chicks 2.
Women's tag team gold.
Hold my poodle. I think, have all of a sudden they disappear, and then this tag team show, Chelsea and Vivian show up, or Lexi and Vivian show up, and from the Catskills or from Beverly Hills, and they've got they're going for tag team gold, but then they do all these high flying moves, and of course, like, you start to see, like, wait a second, this is them. Now I understand this again. This is not a slam or directed at a trans community at all, and probably they won't do it. But if you haven't seen White Chicks with the Wayans brothers, you got to check this movie out. Anybody that has seen it, it's hilarious. I almost think this would be a hilarious thing. So I asked Grok or Chat, this was Jim and I, to what would happen if Private Party went undercover as the White Chicks, and this is what they gave me. So yeah, dude, I don't know, I love it. But speaking of awesome tag teams, and sometimes heartbreak, let's talk about the stoned pulp, I guess, if you will, orange pulp. Yeah,
Orange Pitbull. I love Ishii. He was on my team for a while. I'm so glad that he got the pin and actually a win for once. And he is pound for pound one of the toughest SOBs in wrestling, period. And, I'm curious of where this Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, it feels like they're going to feud together, which might help out my team because they're both on my team. So someone's going to guarantee give me a SPD a point, which will be nice. But Ishii, man, he battled through something. I don't know. Have you seen anything on the dirt sheets or whatever?
haven't.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
know, Danielson was thinking maybe it was a hamstring or something, but you could tell it was legit. You know, he wasn't trying to sell this leg injury, whether it be definitely wasn't like a femur break or anything, because there's no way he would have been able to do the stuff he did. But so hopefully it's just like a muscular thing and not a bone thing. But wow, is he tough to battle through. War tested against the War Dogs. Ishii is always fun to watch. And, you know, Gabe Kidd is one of those guys. Like, Gabe Kidd and Ishii are two guys that I would love to have on my side if I was ever in a bar fight.
Right.
Like, both of those guys
animal.
were just like full-blown psychotic, straight out of a mental institute.
If Moxley wasn't available, I would pick them. Yeah.
I mean, Gabe Kidd and Ishii, like, I would pick them. They would be my first string guys on my bar fight team.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're crazy. And I actually like the presentation of Gabe Kidd. Like, he
comes crawling out like an animal. Yeah.
He makes me almost in like a perfect heel way. He makes me nervous when he's wrestling because I feel like he's so aggressive and so physical, like he's gonna hurt someone. Like when he was versus Darby, I was like, I'm nervous you fighting him because you're really gonna hurt him. I know Darby takes a ton of abuse, but the way Gabe Kidd was throwing Darby around and all that, I was like, dang, I'm nervous for Darby on this. But I like the Darby element of this. I don't know where they're gonna go because essentially Darby needs to recruit someone to help him out versus Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd because it's a 2 versus 1. How would you feel about this? You know, the Stone Pitbull Ishii and man, he was going to be on our short list for our +2, but I don't know. I don't know if it's worth picking him up. Because
I think this was legit. You could even kind of see it in Orange Cassidy's face.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're. I think the Roderick Strong thing we talked about last time. That's kind of been the storyline. He's always said he doesn't want to be part of conglomeration. Maybe when Kyle O'Reilly comes back, he brings that back together. Whatever. But I was sad to see that because it was great to see Ishii come back to Stone Pitbull, and I do think part of this match was to serve the continue the feud with Darby because Darby once again shows up and does and you say that you're worried about Darby. Well, that's my secret, Captain. I'm always worried about Darby. You know, that's his thing. He's always putting himself in that thing. So it's kind of like, you know, if he actually does get injured, it's going to be kind of a surprise because, but with Stone Pitbull, man, I hope he is okay. I hope this isn't something serious because I love his place with this group and the conglomeration. It's another one of those things where it clicks. You know, you got all these different personalities, and I'd like to see more of Orange Cassidy and Stone Pitbull, but we shall see. We shall see.
So Clark's married. Is he dating Tekla? Is that right?
I think so, but I think he might be all elite now. I think he might be
all elite.
But I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on Clark Connors, man? I mean, what do you from what you've seen so far, what do you think his presentation, and where do you see him fitting in with AEW going forward?
It's hard because I need to see more of him. I like his presentation and his look, but I need to see more singles matches with him. And I think he would be like he needs like he seems like a faction guy. And so it's almost one of those where it's like when Ace Austin came, I was like, okay, where do I see him fit? And him going in with the Bullet Club, I mean, he's kind of in and out of it in a sense, but it works. But Ace Austin is awesome in the ring. So I want to see more of Clark Connors singles matches before so I'm kind of indifferent at the moment.
I got you. That's fair enough. I like him. I think I love his addition to everything by being, he's one of those flippy do go guys.
Right.
But yeah, I don't, I'd like to see him. I like and I like this presentation of him because I think he used to run around with a cowboy hat on. And I'm like, this is a good thing. And yes, he's from New Japan. So I think he would be a good villain to face a returning Jay White. Would be pretty cool to see the two of them go. Yeah, so I think, I hope he doesn't join the Don Callis family,
No.
but I think he's somebody that keep an eye on in 2026. He might be a sleeper that when we get into the latter part of 2026, we might be saying his name a lot. He might even be showing up in our top performer
Say
thing.
my
We'll see.
full name.
There you go.
4-way match.
All right. Yes.
Give me your thoughts. I'm writing Clark Connors down for a potential +2.
There you go. Great. Okay. You know how much I love the women's division.
Right.
I'm not sure what they're doing with Mina. I do think they're whatever's going on with these the secret admirer. I wonder what they're gonna do with that and who it's gonna end up being. They may not even know at this point.
Right.
Hopefully it's gonna be more of a compelling story. She needs something to get her teeth into. Yeah, it was great to kind of make good use of Megan Bayne. Marina Shafir still kind of being the villain of this whole thing.
Yeah,
Because even
there.
Yeah, in fact, they were kind of people were a little bit behind Megan Bayne. Well, even though they booed her during the this cold open, people were kind of excited for her in this match. Willow looked fantastic, and Willow got to do the straps down again, almost a nod to Hobbs. She delivered an incredible spine buster. I'm not sure. I mean, it was good, and it's good that she's defending the TBS championship, but I'm not sure. I don't know if we're setting up a one-on-one Megan Bayne versus Willow or what's in the cards here. But this was a good. I don't want to dismiss the match because these are four of the best in the women's division right here, but it felt like a holding pattern match. Like, okay, we're gonna put the women on TV. We're gonna put the four women to make this title match, but we're not entirely sure where the storylines are gonna go yet, or we're not ready to present where they're going. So here you go. This is to tide you over, kind of thing. And again, that sounds so cheap because it was so. I enjoyed the match. These are four of the best, but that's what it felt like storyline wise.
At first, for the last months or so, I thought the tag team titles were most vulnerable, but now I feel like the TBS title fits perfectly for the Mega Sis. And I think last night was kind of like looking into the future, and I was watching this, I'm like, oh, she's starting to get a little over but not like babyface over, but like I think it's time. When she first came in, she was thrown into the world title picture very early on, and we were kind of back and forth, like, should she get the belt? Should they go all in on her? I'm glad they didn't, but Megan Bayne has had one of the hottest careers over the last few months globally in wrestling all over the place. Yeah. And I think you got to strike while the iron's hot right now. She deserves gold in AEW. She's put in her dues. She's put in her awesome matches, and she looks awesome. And I think the TBS title is right up her alley. They've had their opportunities with the tag team titles. They came up short, both at Grand Slam and the live event, if you read some of the results and all that. So I think it's time to not revisit that. And I think she has earned a one-on-one title shot. And I would be fine with Willow dropping that TBS title to the Mega Sis. Yeah. Because then the Mega Sis will have her Penelope and then what's her name? Lena?
Yeah, Lena Cross. Yeah, the Lena Cross debut is compelling too, because I mean, if you put Lena Cross and Megan Bayne as a tag team, that's like the Twin Towers. You got really a mega bad. But having that third kind of member in that stable, allows for Megan Bayne to focus on a singles run. You can have Penelope and Lena Cross go after tag title gold. So yeah, good stuff.
Huge. I mean, shocking return, but kind of just like float under the radar. 7 months off, at least 7 months off for Thunder Rosa, and then she just comes back in a backstage promo. Once again, so thrilled she's back. She's pivotal, obviously former champ to the division, but I wish it was one of those in-ring debuts.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. It's one of those things where it kind of was like a soft return kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I think Thunder's going over on Julia Hart, but this is definitely setting up Thunder versus Tekla. And I think that's great. I think Thunder versus Tekla would be a good kind of match to have. Thunder kind of pulling from the Kenny Omega book. She says she's back and she's feeling her best ever. I can't wait to see that because we know how Thunder rolls in the ring, and I'd love to see. And I also pulling from Bad Bunny's playbook, doing a Spanglish promo was pretty awesome. Going out like "Tu madre también." I was like, all right, you go. When she's throwing out the Spanish, you're in trouble. So I think it's gonna be an awesome. Thunder versus Tekla could be. It will be an awesome match, whether they do it on Dynamite or if they set it up for Revolution. But I like this. I like Thunder coming back. It would have been nice. I think prior to her kind of going out for a while, I don't know. Would it have been better, you think, for a surprise? Like, just because there's something about Thunder's music, like
I know,
like would it have been cool for to wait for Tekla to come out and do a promo, and then all of a sudden like have her talking smack and saying, Statlander, you get in line, or have Statlander come out and say, yeah, you beat me and I want that back, but I know I've got to build the line, but there are others that are coming for you. And then all of a sudden, Thunder.
Of course, 100% would have been better.
I know that, I mean, that sounds cliche, but it works. I almost would have enjoyed that better.
Yeah, because it's like the backstage stuff gets lost in translation for the fans, both live and at home. And it's like, it kind of just felt very anticlimactic when you have this star in Thunder. You should have used her pop to not only give the people what they want, but just to reignite the Thunder inside.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the main event because as we're wrapping things up.
Yeah.
Like we said, any single pay-per-view across the board, this could have been and should have been the main event anywhere, and we got it on free TV. And Swerve versus Kenny escalated quickly over the last few weeks, and wow, did they do a great job. And both these guys were our top performers of the night. We'll show our graphics at the end, but man, they brought it. Kenny's
Is it
looking
even
like
a spoiler to say that? Is it even a spoiler to say they're our top performers? I mean, come on, man.
I know, but they 100% deserved it. But this one, man, like, I really liked the way it played out. And unfortunately for me, the babyface, we got heel Swerve back. And I think it was time. And it was kind of like you can see it slowly churning. But he's so over as a babyface, and now he's going to be public enemy number 1 or 2 in AEW, going against the red hot babyface Kenny Omega, who always gets a great hero's welcome. But this Kenny Omega, man, as the commentator team saying, he totally looks like he is back, 5 years ago. Like
crazy.
And in this match, he was doing the moves that we first saw him do in AEW, and taking a ton of defense and moves against him too, and beating. It just makes me cringe because of knowing his history. However, like, he sold that story so well. But man, like, Swerve is on another level. He is on another level right now. And
I love this.
Heel is. Whew.
And here, what's great is two things. One, he doesn't change who he is. He is a lot like Moxley in that he's told us, it's in his theme music, he's the most dangerous. And it fits. And he doesn't necessarily, like, it's not that he's turning heel. It's that his storyline is going in a direction where we don't like him, don't like his character. Like, he's becoming that same, just like Hangman. He's becoming desperate again to get that gold and to beat Kenny. And
at all costs.
And this right here, I want to go back one more. Right here, this to me told the entire story. because when he pulled, everybody saw him pull Aubrey in the way of the V trigger. Kenny's reaction was horrified that he did it. But if you notice Swerve as he's sitting there, he's leaning on the rope. He kind of does that Swerve smile. I caught it, and that's why I wanted to catch this real quick. You kind of look at Swerve. He in this scene, he's kind of laughing a little bit, and that's when I'm like, here we go. And sure enough, and if you look at this face, that's the face of I'm doing what I have to do. This is what I have to do. And you look at, and Nana doesn't have to go heel. Nana can still be his manager and just continue to be bewildered that Swerve is going like this. Yeah, he'll still do that. They're not going to break up Nana with Swerve, but
no, he needs that.
This is Nana will be his redemption down the line. But I think that this is tremendous, and what a way to end.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, if Kenny wanted some time off, look at just the reaction. Look at the fans on the right. Look at Danielson covering his nads. I mean, everybody they just knew this was just like, we're doing this, and then bam. Mission accomplished there, Swerve. And I've talked about Swerve alternates with like Will Ospreay, Kenny, and Moxley in them as my top 3. But I think Swerve's my number 1 now, man. And it's before he turned like kind of that dark side last night. But this was great. This is what in the whole match, it's two of the best in the business. Forget AEW. Two of the best in the business went at it last night. And they delivered such a delicious match. And Swerve gets the nuances, man. He gets that little smirk. You know, he get his facial expressions. I mean, he's just as good emoting as he is. Like when he thought he had Kenny and Kenny kicked out, and he had that horror look on his. He almost had that. That was when the madman. That's when it snapped. I think in him. That was the moment where he just kind of went, "What do I got to do to put this guy away?" Well, there you go. That's what he had to do.
As if the drive-by and his finishing move wasn't enough, and choking him out over the ropes in the chain, then has to do this vertebreaker through the table. Man, he made point of putting Kenny out, and he put his heel stamp of I'm here and I'm going to run the show from now on. And wow, Swerve, dangerous. Whether he's babyface or heel, the guy is electric, and he is must see always. And that's what we love about Swerve and his run in AEW the last few years. Incredible stuff. Like I said, I'm team babyface all the way, but Swerve as heel was always so fun to watch. And for him to be back, I think it was the right time. And you can kind of see a little bit of it coming slowly but surely, but now it's all in. It all started with that, like you said, pulling Aubrey into the V trigger. That was like, all right, it's happening. Yep. The fans turned on him quickly. With Moxley going to babyface, you needed another kind of top heel, and there you go. And you never know what's going to happen with Fletcher and Takeshita.
Yep.
When Okada and Andrade are kind of partnering up. Who knows? All that's going to happen. But wow, what a shocking ending to Dynamite for sure. And when Swerve posted this, I was kind of like, okay, so he's going through the Elite. He secretly was going through the Elite this past year or so. And now what? You know, I know he's got his mind on gold, but you know, he already went through Page. Like, are they going to reignite their feud? Which I would absolutely love that down the line.
Yeah.
But Swerve heel is here. And top guy SPD is here right now. SPD top of the pack at the moment. But we got a pay-per-view coming up and a +2 coming up. Minor and I were talking offline. Looks like we're going to do our +2 Tuesday night before Dynamite, the day before Dynamite. We're going to do Tuesday night +2 draft. That'll go in effect right away, starting with the next week's Dynamite. So maybe we'll see a couple more debuts, a couple more free agents. But the roster and the pot of free agents is good right now. I think everyone will at least get one good, impactful player on this. And then based on what we see, if this was the standings next Tuesday, Courtney, you would pick first, and we do the reverse snake draft there. We do the snake draft on there. Not Steven the snake draft, but just the snake style draft that we always do. Steven, we miss you, bud, wherever you're at. Hopefully you join next week. But wow. Top performers of the night. I mean, we said it all. What is there more to say? Mine, I mean, I could have picked Swerve too, but I needed to pick my guy Kenny because he's on his game right now. And it sucks. We might not see him till after Revolution. We know he's got some prior commitments. That's like the good and bad thing about social media, that people are, you can't really hide things around. But before, real quick, I was scrolling through, I just typed in Ishii. Someone said backstage, Metzler said backstage, the injury wasn't as bad as it seemed to be for Ishii. So that's good news.
That's good.
Good news,
right,
but
cool.
still,
Cool.
we don't know the extent, but they were said it wasn't as bad as they expected it to be for Ishii. But Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, two guys that are bleed AEW, and you think of AEW, you think these guys, and they are top performers of the night.
Best in the business. And Swerve, the rise of Swerve Strickland needs to be studied because he just keeps getting better. He just keeps getting better. It's fantastic.
I love when you say that, and that's so true. And look at him from 3 years ago to today, and who knows what's going to happen from 3 years from now. It's going to just continue to rise, and it's fun. And I'm glad he's on Team AEW.
Amen to that, brother.
Good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We will see you on actually Tuesday for the +2 ahead of that. So if you can't make it, send us a couple of your free agent picks and we'll auto draft for you. But thank you all. Enjoy the weekend. We got our girl Thunder Rosa back in action Saturday live in San Diego, not far from the graveyards of Tijuana. So not far from her hometown. So that'll be a nice, quiet return for her.
Yep. And I'll give you one guess on what pick 2 I'm going for in this draft, huh? I'll give you 2 guesses.
That's going to be tough if you're sitting in second or third place because you're not going to have back-to-back picks.
At least save me Jesse. If you take Cassie, at least leave me.
Hey,
Jesse,
I'd be picking after you, so you'd be picking before me.
All right, so we'll see what happens there.
You're going to have to grease some palms of the people that below you.
All right,
and the Mind Runner FTD household, you're going to have to make sure.
Oh, no, she'll snake me. She'll grab Cassie before. She'll probably grab Jesse and take my sweetheart. So, anyways, good night, everybody.
Right.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Stop.